Hi everybody, welcome to Knitting with Frogginette. My name is Lisa and I'm a knitwear designer who focuses on baby and children knitwear. So it's been a really long time since I've done a proper knitting episode where I show you all my works in progress and finished objects. So I have a lot to catch up on. I've been knitting up a storm. As I've said before, that's how I manage my stress. So this year and last has definitely been very productive in terms of knitting. So I think I will start with a quick review of my works in progress, and then I'll show you some of my finished objects. So my first work in progress that I want to show you is kind of a joke, but well, do you remember these? Let me open the project bag. I've been working on these socks for I don't even know how long now, like over a year. Like I don't know if you'll remember, but it's been a while. And they're really gorgeous. I really love them. I don't know why I can't finish the second sock. Yeah, I was kind of hoping that I would turn into a sock knitter because I love hand knit socks very much. And it's just not really happening. I think that, so here's where I'm at with the second sock. See, so I'm not that far off. Like I just, like I already did the provisional thing here for the heel, and I just have to knit round and round and then do the fun color work. And yeah, I think that the problem is I don't enjoy knitting with very tiny needles. It's a little bit hard on my eyes because I knit personal stuff in the evening, and I am starting to wear glasses, but I don't know, I just haven't really gotten the hang of it to get into a routine with socks, but I'm not giving up. And by the way, these are what do they call again? Saxe point socks, I believe, by Andrea Rangel. I don't know how to say her name. They're really nice. So hopefully, next year, at some point, they'll be done. Let's see. Next work in progress. Some of you, if you follow me on Instagram, you might have quickly, in passing, seen that I mentioned working on a grown-up version of my best-selling boy sweater. And, I have been working on it. See, I did the whole body. Oh, it's not really focusing. And, most of a sleeve here. And then I am not completely happy with the color, the way it sits. So I think that's why I'm kind of stuck. It's really silly. Like I just have to basically undo the bind off and just kind of like do more short rows and make, I think the color needs to be quite a bit longer. It's a little bit puny, not very generous, see? So, but otherwise, the fit is fine, and yeah, I should be able to finish this at some point. There's no guarantees about when the pattern will be available. I just don't know. I have so many other things that are, usually the grown-up stuff that I release is kind of a result of a lot of people requesting it, and it needs to be really a lot of people for me to tackle grown-up stuff because it's not what I enjoy the most, especially since I do a lot of raglan construction, and it's a lot harder to grade, especially if you want to be size inclusive and go up to maybe a 5XL or something. It gets a little bit tricky sometimes, and it's just, it's doable. It's not a problem. It's just, I just procrastinate. And also, that's not the main thing that I do. What I do mostly is kid stuff. So, once in a while I'll do a grown-up design. But yeah, this one, I definitely want to finish this one. So it'll happen. It'll happen, just bear with me. Okay, so that's my second work in progress. Now, the one that I've been working on the most is this Mohair sweater that I just completely, I'm just completely improvising. And let me show you. It's like some kind of a mohair blend. I think there might be a little nylon in it. I will put the details of the yarn in the description below. There's no pattern. I'm just kind of going off of some other sweater that I've designed and that fits okay. And so see, I've been wanting a sweater like this for a long time, like really fluffy, light as a cloud, simple, super simple lines. And I honestly, I'm not quite sure how I want to finish this. I think it's going to be, you know, nice and kind of wider. Maybe I'll make it slightly cropped with like a long ribbed band at the bottom. And then kind of maybe 3/4 length sleeve, but actually similar to what I'm wearing right now, which I'll show you in the finished object section. So in terms of finishing the neckline, I don't know, maybe just a simple rib. Just very, very, I just want this to be very simple, and I want it to be all about the texture, you know, and the color, which I think is really, really pretty. It's very, very soft. So I think this will be done at some point this summer, and will just be a nice, like, little end of summer, you know, sweater to wear. I don't know about making a pattern from it. I doubt it, honestly, because this doesn't really translate into a kid design very well. I don't think, like mohair, like, I don't know. Maybe the kid design would not be using mohair, I guess. Or maybe it'll be, maybe I could do a mix just with like a strand of mohair. I don't know. I just haven't even thought that far. So that's my third work in progress. And then the one that I've been working on right now the most, more recently, is this, which is going to be a new design. Let me just show you. Oh, this is not easy. See, it's like this really nice, it's all about the garter and that accent at the raglan lines. And it's going to be like a little, very simple sort of summer cardigan for little girls, I guess. It's not going to be all garter, but the top part will be. And this is actually my second sample. I made one in 3 months old size, which is all finished, and the pattern is mostly written. It's not quite done with I'm not quite done with the grading, but I'm expecting that I'll be able to send it to the tech editor like next week maybe, and so the test should be within the next couple weeks or something like that. Let's see. Yeah, so, and this will be released probably sometime in July, end of July or something. But yeah, so that is basically it with my works in progress. Now for the finished objects. So the first finished object that I want to present to you is what I'm wearing right now. And as some of you may recognize, because it's a pretty well-known design, this is the Ranunculus sweater by Midori. I forget, it's like the Midori Cafe. I forget her name. Midori Rose, maybe? I'll put the details in the description below. And I used this beautiful yarn by Purl Soho called Linen Quill. I forget the colorway. I think it might be quartz something. But again, I'll put the details in the description. And yeah, so Purl Soho sent me some yarn recently, I mean, a few months ago, and kind of like no strings attached, which was so nice. And so I knew right away that this was gonna be a ranunculus. And with that pattern, you can do sort of either holding one strand of yarn, like I guess a fingering weight, and you end up with a very, very airy garment, kind of like sheer. Or you can use 2 strands and make it a little bit more structured like this, like, you know, where, I mean, it's still quite airy. I don't know if you can see. But it's, you know, it's definitely, you know, a little warmer, but I think it's just perfect for summer evenings when it's a little colder, especially around here in northern Germany, you know, it gets windy. And so I am so happy with this sweater. Like, let me show you. It's basically, goes like this. So I made it a little bit cropped, and I made the sleeves cropped because I only had 3 skeins of that linen quill, and I just wanted to make sure that I had enough. So yeah, and I had plenty. It was fine. Like I didn't run out or anything, and I think the length of the sleeve is perfect, and it's just really nice. Like I could picture it worn with like a dress, you know, like over a dress, or just like this. I'm literally wearing a tank top and shorts, and this would be really fine. And as far as the pattern, I have to say there was like a couple times where I was a little bit confused, but I just kind of like paid more attention to actually what was written, like trying to not assume. And it turned out okay. And also like I looked at people's notes that made the pattern. And I guess the other thing that was unusual is that, I don't know if you can tell, but like, so there's some short rows. I think they're optional. But like if you want an upper back neck so that it's not so boat neck in style, you can make short rows. But she also has you do short rows in the front, which I thought was quite unusual. So you get this little wedge here, which, I mean, is fine, but I don't know if I would do it next time. I might just kind of skip it and, you know, have it be just like the same all along the lace here. The neckline would be a little bit lower. But I really love, you know, this kind of textured design here that she did. And just, yeah, it's just a really, really nice pattern. And I have to say that it is so addictive and so fast to knit. I think it took me like less than a week to finish it, like completely, from casting on to having it blocked. So I'm actually tempted to do another one, maybe in black. I don't know. Knitting in black is always kind of not the most pleasant thing, but it would be very practical as a garment. So, or maybe in white. I don't know. Maybe in white, like a kind of maybe a cotton blend. I don't know why I'm kind of thinking about white sweaters these days. Maybe it's just the summer finally arriving. Yeah, but anyway, this is the first finished object that I want to present to you. The second one is very special because a very good friend of mine in real life, you know, like a real person, not that, you know, internet friends are not real people, but someone I actually know in real life, designed this. She's a really good designer. And I tested this sweater for her. I was part of the test knit, and I think it's just gorgeous. I actually took the pattern photo for her when she used to live here. She moved away, still in Germany, but somewhere else. And I really loved that design so much. And at the time, it was a long time ago, I told her, I definitely want to test knit for you. I love this sweater so much. And actually, I should try it on to show you. Give me a minute. Here it is. So I should probably stand up and show you. So the sweater is named Wieck, and it's named after actually a little fishing village that's just, you know, a few kilometers away from where I live now and where she used to live. And it's really pretty. And yeah, so my friend's name is You-Shan Feng, and she's on Instagram under Yarncontortions, which I think is so good because she really loves very intricate cables, and she really is into unusual construction techniques and all that kind of stuff. So she has a lot of designs that are a little more advanced, but very, very well explained in the patterns. And she's also, you know, very helpful to anyone who has any questions. And so I think you should check out her portfolio. As far as this sweater, and I'm probably gonna die of heat because it's pretty warm. It's too bad because the color doesn't really show very well. I'm looking at the monitor here. It's actually, I knit it with Malabrigo Rios, which is one of my favorite yarns ever to knit with. And it's the colorway is called English Rose, and it's actually kind of a hot pink. And I don't know why it's showing this weird reddish orangey tint, but it's, I'll try to insert a picture of the true color so you can see. And I really love wearing this yarn. It's just this kind of like everyday wear, soft, but not like you're not worried about damaging the sweater. Like it's quite hard wearing. It's just very comfy and warm. And I can tell that this is going to be my go-to sweater for a while. Maybe not this summer, but as soon as it's a bit colder. And it was just really fun to work on it because, first of all, the yarn color is just very happy, like this bright pink. So you're always kind of excited to pick up, you know, a work in progress that has this nice happy color. So I really enjoyed that. It kind of took me a long time to finish the sweater because there's just so many cables, and you kind of, I mean, the pattern is very intuitive. Like at first, you know, you kind of have to pay attention to set up the pattern, but then like very quickly you kind of get the hang of it, how it sort of works. And then after a while I wasn't even looking at the charts, like I just could sort of intuitively remember how it goes. So that was nice. I would say that it's definitely a sweater. It's not hard, but you know, you have to pay attention and be able to follow a chart. And yeah, I mean, as far as the construction, so what I really like is this, you see this cable here? It's just very neat. It just like follows all along. See, it goes from here, and then design-wise, I really like how she has that cable go up here. And I don't know, I just like that it's kind of a little bit more snug in the top, and then it's very comfy around the tummy. And she actually has, the main pattern option is open on the sides. So here in the one on the pattern page, you can see that there's buttons on both sides. It's like the side buttoning, and it's kind of like more of a tunic. So, I mean, for me, I just didn't have that much yarn, and I felt like, for me personally, it would be more wearable cropped and without the buttons. But it's also really nice with the buttons. So yeah, something to check out. It's just very special. So yeah, I'll put the link below. Feel free to check the pattern page. Again, the name is You-Shan Feng. The sweater is Wieck. And the Instagram is Yarncontortions. And I'll put all this info in the description below. So I put this Ranunculus back on because I was just dying. It was too hot with the other sweater on. So the next finished objects I want to show you are my designs, my own designs. Since the last episode, I've released 3 new designs. 2 of them are from my Little Gray Cells collection, which is Agatha Christie inspired. And I think that I already had presented to you Arthur, Hercule, and Tommy and Tuppence. And so the next one that I released is Ariadne. Ariadne? Just not sure all of a sudden how to pronounce it. Hopefully I'm not butchering it. This is a little dress slash tunic. Again, the color is not quite bright like this. It's more like a maroon, a really nice maroon color. And it has a little sort of cute fastening situation at the back. And I put a little apple here because if you are a fan of Agatha Christie, you'll know that Miss Oliver, so Ariadne Oliver, is a writer, crime writer, who some people think that she's the character is inspired by Agatha Christie herself, and she's kind of like very intuitive, like a little bit messy, and she is addicted to apples. She's always eating apples, so that's why I put a little apple here as a little wink, wink. So yeah, this is, this was supposed to be like a sweater dress, basically like the go-to piece of clothing that is super practical, that you can, wear as with leggings and make it shorter or longer as needed. Like for example, for crawling babies, you might not want it to be so long, so you could kind of make it more like, so that it stops at the hips or something. And then for older kids, you could make it like a little longer and make it a bit of a twirly dress situation. It's very flared, as you can see. I really wanted it to have a swingy shape and move quite a bit. And I suggest using either a worsted weight or a DK weight. And if you use the thinner weight, you'll have a more airy fabric and it'll be very it'll be much lighter. And this was meant for it to be also either a warmer weather piece of clothing or, a colder weather piece of clothing. And also I have several sleeve options. So this is the long sleeve option, which has the same little, it's not showing. Yeah, the same little detail here as this one. And I have several different options in the pattern. Like you can do cap sleeves, like it stops here. So if you wanted to do like a more of a summery style garment, you could use maybe like a cotton blend or a linen blend, and a DK weight so that it's a little more airy. And I also have, I think it was like elbow length sleeves. So, I mean, you can really customize it really well. And I think that it's also very appealing for little girls because of this ruffle. And it's, it's simple, but it's a little bit special. And I made it like so that the hem is actually high-low, which I guess is more visible in bigger sizes. But yeah, there's some short rows so that it's a little bit longer at the back so that it adds to this kind of like swingy effect. And I was really inspired by this like kind of 1920s sort of very comfortable lower waisted. So there's a lower waist here also. These kind of dresses that look very comfortable for active, girls and women, which of course Miss Oliver is that kind of person. And what else can I say? Oh yeah, I shaped the neckline so that it's like nicely shaped using short rows. So it's a real crew neck and, with a little button here to make it special. So that's the first design that I wanted to present to you. And again, I'll put all the links in the description below. By the way, I now have my Etsy shop really up and running. Like I've updated everything. So if you can't use Ravelry, I'll put the Etsy links as well. And I really try to have it so that every time I have like a discount on Ravelry, I have the same discount on Etsy. So everyone can benefit. So the second finished object, which is a design of mine that I wanted to present, is called Jane. And it's, of course, named for Jane Marple. So Miss Marple, which I'm sure everybody knows, she's this older lady, very proper, who has a very deep knowledge of human nature and a knack for solving crimes in her little village and elsewhere. And so I wanted something sort of very kind of soft, but at the same time sharp and not like no nonsense, you know. And because she often wears shawls and everything, I thought that it would be really fun to do a little bit of lace, but just at the top here, kind of like to give it this shawl, you know, wearing a shawl impression. But the rest would be very straightforward. I definitely wanted to use a bit of a fuzzier, very sort of silky yarn that was pink, because in a lot of the books where she's featured, she's always knitting or wearing some kind of pink fuzzy garment. And so I really wanted that to be a little bit of a link back to the books. And I use, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, also for the previous design, I use Manos del Uruguay yarns, which they provided yarn support for. And so this one is the silk blend, I believe. Oh, I'm trying to remember. I think so. I will put all the details again. But this is really beautiful yarn. I don't know how it wears, so, you know, you just have to see. It might pill. I mean, it's not very twisted, but it's you know, it's like a special garment, so I think it's okay to once in a while do that. But you can certainly use harder wearing yarns, you know, of the correct weight. You can use cotton blends. You can use, I think someone used like a bamboo blend even. So it's very versatile. Some of my testers just did it as a short sleeve garment. So they just kind of, you know, did little sweaters like that for the summer for babies or little kids. And I think it turned out really nicely. And the idea here is that it's very, very fast and easy because, you know, you don't have to pick up for the button band. It's worked as you go. And same thing with the neckline. It's really straightforward. It's like the top part is more of a circular yoke, and then it turns into this raglan. So it fits really nicely, and it has a very slight A shape. I don't know if you can see, but see right here. There's like this line of increases here, and I think it's a really nice touch. It makes it look, you know, a little bit more tailored. It's kind of subtle. And yeah, I really like this. And if my daughter wasn't deathly afraid of buttons, I would knit her one right away. But I do have a niece that I might knit one for. Maybe something in cotton because she lives in a warmer place. So that was my second finished object of, you know, my designs. And now the latest pattern that I released is this. And I am so in love with these. So I called this Pantlets. So I wanted something really, really like just adorable and really easy, fun to knit. And well-fitting, of course. And these are just, I think, perfect. They call for sport weight. And this one is made with Rerum Natura Ulysse, which is a really nice yarn. It's not superwash, but you know, you can make these with superwash yarns. You can make these with a cotton blend, anything really that you want, depending on what you want it for. And so they're worked from the top down. So you start with this ribbing. You make these eyelets, and by the way, the eyelet technique is this buttonhole technique that I've used in the past in my patterns. It's by Coco Knits, and I really like how clean the buttonholes are, and I thought that it would be nice to use the same technique for this. eyelet row. And so once you're done with the eyelet row, you just start knitting in garter in the round. But, and here's the important little detail, is that, you know, when you knit garter in the round, a lot of times you end up with like a weird sort of seam where you have your beginning of round. And so what I decided to do was to do, so that this would be symmetrical, to do like a faux seam here. So you have this on both sides and not just one side. So it looks nice and symmetrical. See? And then also there's some short rows at the back, so that the back of the pants is a little bit higher, and it's very important for fit. And before you're scared away, you won't even know that you're working short rows. It's just, you literally follow the pattern. There's no like, there's nothing to be done when you turn, you know, at the short row turns. Because it's garter stitch, you just turn and you don't have to pick up anything. There's like no wrap and turn, no nothing. It couldn't be simpler. And I think this actually would be the perfect pattern for someone who has never worked short rows before, because it's just an introduction. It just kind of is a really good way to understand what's happening when you're working short rows, so that you'll see what's happening is that you're making this wedge here, but you won't have to worry about like all the little subtleties that short rows involved when you work them in stockinette or in other stitches. The nice thing with garter stitch is that the turns, you know, of short rows are hidden within those bumps. So that's why it's always kind of easier. Excuse me. So yeah, so you keep working like that, and then here, and then there's some tips about cloth diapers. So the pattern goes from newborn size to 3 years old, and it assumes children who are diapered. And there's some tips about cloth diapers. There's like adjustments that you can make depending on how bulky the cloth diaper is or how sort of trim. And if your child is like potty trained, you can also, there's also like some tips in the sizing section. So anyway, when you get to this point, you've knit all this, you knit flat, and then you slip the stitches here, which makes it super easy then to pick up and work the ribbing. So again, if you don't like picking up stitches, it's not a problem, because there's these kind of loops on the edge, so you don't have to wonder where to put your needle. It's very, very simple, and everything is really very well explained. There's all the details, all the stitch counts, so I really think that it should be a very fun experience to knit these. And then the last thing that I wanted to say is that it's not, you don't need to do any Kitchener stitch at the end. So here at the crotch area, it's actually a simple 3 needle bind off, which completely, you know, it's basically invisible. I mean, can you see it? You can't see it, right? And because the kids are wearing diapers, I mean, there's a tiny ridge on the inside because of the 3 needle bind off, but they can't feel it, so it's not a problem, I don't think. And it just looks really sleek. So yeah, this, I'm very happy with these, because I really think that, one, it's like super fast to knit these, and it's like a perfect, you know, gender neutral gift, like if you have a baby shower, and also like it's fun, and there's no complications, there's no like fiddly parts, it's just really easy, and I think the result is really nice. So I think that's all I wanted to say. Short and sweet. I will try to be better about releasing more episodes. The next episode I'm going to do is actually going to be one of those little garden interludes, because I realized that it's been like 6 months since I released my last one. So I'll give you a little tour of my allotment garden in June. Hopefully, actually this afternoon, maybe I'll go and film it because the garden is really pretty right now. It's kind of my favorite time of the year. And so that hopefully I'll be able to release that fairly soon. And I don't know if you've seen, like I've released a couple videos that have more to do. One was like kind of an overview of color work for beginners, sort of like trying to demystify, you know, color work, kind of the same way I did with short rows. And then another video is like this nice nifty trick to do stripes in the round where you don't have a jog, and it's really like foolproof and fun to do. And then I also did a video recently about more of the business aspect of being a knitwear designer, and I still need to do a part 2 about this. Like, I definitely have a lot on my plate video-wise, but if you have any suggestions, anything you would like me to cover, I don't know, like finishing techniques, anything that's like a bit of a theme that I could address, and just give you my opinions, my ideas. Again, you know, everyone has different ideas and it's totally fine. There's no rules in knitting. Yeah, just let me know, leave me a comment, and I hope I will see you very soon. Happy knitting. Bye.